Hello dear aspirants, welcome back to Goldfinch IAS and KS Institutes, and today I came up with one more important article. So before going through that, please listen to me. If you are a very serious aspirant of IAS and KS examinations, please watch all of my videos from the beginning till the end, okay? Because otherwise you'll be missing some important informations. Particularly for this particular article, if I talk about, this has a lot of concepts and it will give you a overall understanding of the Indian economy, what has been done so far in the last 5 years, right? And let us start the video. That is, India has the economy improved in the NDA's second term is the title. It is talking about whether the Indian economy is improved in the second term of the NDA government. It looks a little political, but it is not a political one. I have collected only the examination oriented points. Okay, so we can completely avoid the political things here. So the first important thing says Indian economy was not that well placed when it was in 2019. It was not well placed because of lot of reasons, and the article says the first reason is we have introduced the goods and services tax. Right, it was new for everybody. It took some time to get adjusted to goods and services tax. This was the first one. Second one, the government of India decreased the corporate income tax. That is, the corporate income tax, as the government is decreased, it has also decreased the revenue collection to the government. Right, so it was the article actually started with the situation, and it is saying the erosion of the central government tax revenues because of the decrease in the corporate taxes. This is how the journey of the NDA government journey started, right? So, and when entered into 2000, that is COVID-19, when we entered into COVID-19 phase in till actually 2021, 2022, the economy further suffered. Yes or no? But in 5-year 2020, in the 5-year 2022, because of the base effect, we clocked in more than 8.7% and 7% in the year 23 and 24. We have seen growth. See, it is very simple. It is showing that we are showing a lot of growth in the economy. Why? Because of the base effect. Base effect meaning, for example, take one particular year. In a one particular year, the economy is actually negative. That is -7%. It is only -7%. If you calculate the economy, just assume that this is 2019. In 2019, last year, before last year, that is 2019, the growth rate is 7%. That is -7%. If you calculate for this year, we have just improved and we have growth only for 1%. Correct, but actual growth shows 8%, because we have recovered the 7% of negative growth and plus positive percent of 1% growth. Total is 8%. This is what, why 8% growth is showing. Actually 8% is growth is not there. No, how much is the growth? Actually only 1% is the growth. Remaining 7% was a negative, that is a -7%. But actually growth shows 8% of growth, and we should not feel happy. Okay, the economy is going in 8% growth. 8% growth is showing because of the base effect. That is, the previous year we were in a negative. You understood? So this is what these particular line says. This is the first important concept that I thought of covering and covered it. And next, let us move on. And one more thing they mention here is about the K-shape recovery. What do you mean by K-shape recovery? If I write a simple graph like this, some of the sectors of the economy are recovering, which means they are growing well, and some other sectors of the economy are not recovering, they are going down. Some of them are recovering, some of them are going down. And what is the shape of this particular curve? This is what is called K-shape recovery. In K-shape recovery, what happens? See, here it is very clearly mentioned. Some of the sectors are actually improved, right, like MSMEs and medium scale industries, etc., and some of them are not improved. So that is the reason we have seen K-shape recovery. You understood? So if already this question asked by UPSC in the main examination, what is K-shape recovery? How do you see that Indian economy is facing a K-shape recovery? So K-shape recovery meaning, in an economy some sectors are facing good growth, some sectors are going negative. That is K-shape recovery. After that, there are multiple reasons why the number of unemployment and inflation look unfavorable, and scholars have begun describing this phenomena on the lines of the jobless growth. This is very, very important. What is important here? Jobless growth is very important. What do you mean by jobless growth? See, for example, economy is showing a growth. There is a growth in the economy, but equally the employment is not generated. See, growth line is going up like this and employment is in the same way. Right? If I can tell you, annually we are able to generate only 1%. If you go back to the history, during the 70s, India's employment growth, that was approximately around 20 million. Right? Which means it was around 3% actually. It was around 3%. 3% meaning, for example, that time GDP was also 3%. 3 to 3.5% was the GDP. You got the point? GDP was 3 to 3.5% during 1970s, right? And the job creation was 3%. What is happening at present? At present, it is only 1%. 1%. But what is the GDP growth we are showing? We are showing 5% to 8% of GDP growth. Even though we have 5% of C, when we had only 3% GDP growth, the job creation was 3%. When we are improved into 8% of GDP growth, the job creation is decreased into 0.1%. That is 0.1. That is meaning just only 1%. Earlier it was 3%. Now it is only 1%. So this is not acceptable. Definitely question arises. Why India is experiencing jobless growth. There are a lot of reasons. Right? First of all, the first important reason is India is not generating enough jobs. India is not generating enough jobs. That is the first reason. Second is there is a lot of skill loopholes among the laborers. The laborers or the employees are not competent enough. They are not skillful enough. Right? See, for example, you are looking for a skill and the person is having nothing skill, no skills at all. You are looking for a person who is having A skills. Right? A person having 0. And he might be having C skill or B skill or something else, and you require something and supply something else. You understand? And third reason is actually technological replacement. That is technology like artificial intelligence and machine learning. This is actually decreased number of employees required for your company because more machines are working. Right? And see, for example, if 10 employees are required for your office, all the 10 work can be done by one single agent. Correct? Now, this was when computer was introduced. At presently, whatever the 10,000 people do work, that can be done by one AI technology. No. That is the power of artificial intelligence. That definitely promotes to decrease the unemployment. Sorry, decrease the employment and creates a lot of unemployment. Got it? Right. So next is that's what is the question is actually, because in the last budget, the government announced an increase of 33% in the capital expenditure to 10 lakh crore rupees. Right? It's a huge investment in huge capital expenditure actually. Huge capital investment. Listen carefully. In the last video, I told you about capital expenditure. If you have not watched it, please watch it carefully. Right? So in the capital expenditure, what happens? So it will build the infrastructure. It will create assets to the government. It will generate employment. It will generate employment. You getting the point? So these are all done by whom? These are all done by capital expenditure. Because I told you in the last class, capital expenditure is a good expenditure. Revenue expenditure is not that good. Because revenue expenditure will be spent for day-to-day businesses. You just assume, if you have around 50,000 rupees with you, take an example, you have 50,000 rupees with you and 20,000 rupees you will buy a watch, a smartwatch. 20,000 rupees you buy a smartwatch. Or else you can take, okay sir, 10,000 rupees I buy a smartwatch, 10,000 rupees you buy a TV, 10,000 rupees or you buy something else. But 20,000 rupees you have spent on electronic goods. Remaining 30,000 rupees, what you did, remaining 30,000 rupees you invested in a stock market. In a long-term investment. Or this 30,000 rupees you bought in a village you bought some goats or sheeps, right, and asked your parents to take care of them. Which is asset out of your 50,000 rupees? Which is the correct asset actually for you? Is this 20,000 rupees is your asset or 30,000 rupees is your asset? So 30,000 rupees is the asset, because if you purchased goat and sheep for 30,000 rupees now, after 6 months they will give you 40 to 45,000 rupees of income to you. Yes or no? They will give you in return 40 to 45,000 rupees return. Meaning you are getting additional 15,000 rupees extra. This is what is asset creation do, right? Such assets are not being created. You get in the point? Which one? The revenue expenditure is not creating such assets. So which is, listen, and which is going to create such assets? Capital expenditure is going to create these assets. If you spend 30,000 rupees on buying goats and sheep, it is capital expenditure. And if you buy, watch, TV, mobile, etc. by spending 20,000 rupees and having food in hotel, etc., etc., it is a revenue expenditure. So which expenditure is good for the economy? Capital expenditure is good. No, because they will build roads, ships, harbors, and airports, etc. They will going to generate the employment in the system. This was the question asked, whether it is generated the employment or not. And the author says problem has been with the kind of capital intensive technologies. Technologies is the main thing here that has been employed to carry out these infrastructure projects. Very important. See, capital expenditure done, infrastructure projects are started, but what technology we are using? We are using more of machines in place of laborers. If you use more of machines in place of laborers, where is the employment is going to be generated? Definitely it will not be generated. No. Think of it. That is the one reason they mentioned. And also they mentioned that the employment creation was 9.4% in the month of October. That is last year 2023. And we'll go to the further understanding. I also would like to point that quality of employment. See, employment is being created. What kind of quality employment is being created here? That is a manual work employment. Correct. Many skilled people, see, for example, you've done a PhD in post graduation or a degree, will you go and work as a cargo employee? Correct. No, but job is created where? Job is also created in the manual working, where you can do physical work, etc. The kind of employment avenues that are getting generated through these projects are predominantly in the informal sector. Listen carefully. What do you mean by informal sector? Your intellectual knowledge is not required to do that work. Example, construction workers, correct? Working in cement industries. Getting the point? Working in chemical industries, etc. As a laborer. If you're working there as a laborer, definitely skills are not required for you. You have to, work whatever they say. That is all informal employment. Informal employment will not have fixed number of days of employment. They will not have fixed number of days of employment. They will not have a proper salary. They will not have a proper and week off. They will not have an offer letter. They have no PF, no ESI, nothing. Such employment are being generated. People are not ready to go and work in that. Instead of that, they will say, okay, my grandfathers or fathers rental income is coming in, I'll stay at home and I will not work, and something like that, right? And also children are suffering from wasting meaning what? That is low weight for the height. Getting the point? Children are suffering like that, and then eventually due to uncertainties of weather and where the bans on export sale from the Food Corporation of India pause the using sugarcane, etc., etc. See, first of all, because of the weather conditions, cyclones, hurricanes, etc., exports are not picking up and they are being banned, correct, in some of the countries. That is one reason. Second is using, as for the Food Corporation of India, pause or using sugarcane to produce ethanol. This is not good for the health purposes. No, it is also damaging the health of children. Ethanol using like rice grain, sugarcane, they are all problematic actually. Quite early, there is a challenge that if you think that, inflation and the food basket, like pulses, inflation has increased to 20.73%, vegetables 27%, and food 11%, and sugar 7%. Like that, inflation is also playing a role here. It is increasing, right? These are all the important. This is how, see, what is the summary of this entire thing? This is how the last 5 years of the NDA government or the government's performance. There were a lot of positives, there were also a lot of negatives, and economy is still not in a clear condition. economy still had a lot of challenges, that is balancing the inflation. Again, it is a challenge. The economy need to be balanced in the inflation. What is second? The economy has to create a lot of jobs. Correct. An economy have to increase and bring lot of stimulus, particularly the capital stimulus, which means lot of capital is required, right? Lot of challenges are still ahead. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.